Hi guys, Chosen Reactions, and welcome to another probably very messy review, this time of the fifth season of Charmed. So yeah, I did a little bit of preparation. I hope I got everyone questions from Patreon and I put them into a Word document. I just want to prepare a little bit because as you know, I'm really not good at this. But I know that you like it when I answer some of your questions, so I'm gonna try to do that now. I think there are like 25 questions. Yeah. So let's just start. Alright, first question. Favorite episode of the season? Those questions are always frustrating. So, like I always say, it changes all the time. But at the moment, I would pick episode 15, the day the magic died. I just really liked the how this episode kind of shows off what Charles is so good at. You know, kind of a combination of uh, drama, humor, but it can also be sometimes very dark. It combines all those elements very well, and of course the focus on family. I mean, the first half of the episode, I remember it was quite funny, but then the second half got very quickly very messed up when the bad guys, including their stepmom, wanted to steal Piper's baby. And I was very scared that would happen. I kind of felt like maybe White would get kidnapped or something at some point, which luckily didn't happen. And this as well was a big failure. And at the end of the episode, Wyatt got born, and it was such a beautiful scene. I got really emotional, and yeah, it was pretty much perfect. It would only be more perfect if Pooh was there as well. So that's definitely one of my favorites, and at this moment, I would say my favorite of the season. I also picked some other episodes that I also really enjoyed. Not that I didn't enjoy the other episodes, but trying to pick some more. But another example is episode 14, San Francisco Dreaming. That was just a very humorous episode. Even the very disturbing clown who came back to life. I don't like that, but it was still funny. It was disturbing, but it was still funny, and I just had a lot of fun reacting to that episode as well. Because there are some episodes that I enjoy more if I would just watch it at a couch or something and be like, that. And there are also episodes that I enjoy more if I'm reacting to it. And this was definitely an episode. It was, kind of both. I would also enjoy it by myself, but it was even more fun. Just, just like being like, what the hell is happening vibe the whole time. Um, and at episode 8, A Witch in Time, I think at the time I enjoyed it, but I didn't think it was that special. But it's an episode kind of grown on me. I just liked it. Maybe I appreciated that it was kind of simple storyline, except for the ending. We also, Phoebe's, I guess, sort of love interest, Miles. He wasn't too bad, but I just liked this whole storyline about trying to keep him from dying, and Phoebe getting those visions the whole time and seeing all the ways he would die if it didn't do something about it. But especially like the ending where Piper, I guess, or Piper was like past Piper trying to save future Piper who turned into present Piper. It was kind of a mess, but I liked it. Okay, I kind of liked that twist, and I think it's one of the more fun storylines of this season. And then episode 7, Sympathy for the Demon. I mean, it's a return of Barbara, so I think I said enough already. And I also have a special mention of episode 5, Witches in Tights, which was like the superhero episode. And there were some of you were surprised that I liked the episode. I guess it's a divisive episode. Some of you don't like it at all, and others do. Well, I'm one of the people who liked it. I like the costumes. I like the silly villain. It was just fun. Once again, it was fun, and that's what I enjoy the most about it. I do like my dark storylines. I do have a very huge preference for that, but I also like it when I put it on Charmed episode and I can just relax and kind of see what crazy stuff is going on. So yeah, that was like the first question. Next question. A question I'm always so very bad at. Favorite season so far. I don't think I can give a very original answer or something. I still believe that my favorite seasons will always be the seasons with Pooh. It just is. Um, and I guess at this point, I would say that season 3, once again, is my favorite. I think I also said it with the last review. Because it had some dark storylines. Cole was, in my opinion, pretty awesome back then. but we still had Prue kicking ass, and the finale was, I don't even want to talk about it again, but even though that it not me crying all that, it was a very good episode. I just really liked that season, so I'm gonna pick season 3. And even though it's not in the question, I'm still gonna say it, but like least favorite season, um, that was also hard. But I think I'm gonna go with this season, the 5th season. Not that I didn't enjoy it, but I think that maybe because the second half season 4 was such a wild roller coaster, and I'm kind of reliving it again because I'm editing the 4th season at the moment. It kind of feels like season 5 was, well, I wouldn't really say chill, but maybe in comparison. There were also a lot of important moments in season 5, including the finale, with Leo becoming an elder, Wyatt being born, Cole's final death, but overall it just didn't feel as memorable to me, but maybe it's a season that after a while will grow more on me, I don't know. So do I have any predictions about Chris? I mean, he's a shady white lighter. Shady, not shady. Did I say shady white lighter? I guess. Predictions. I mean, I think for the first half of the season, we're probably gonna deal with him and his shady stuff. He's gonna be their white lighter, trying to guide them, but probably not in a good sense, but to do things that would benefit him in the future, I suppose. I wouldn't be surprised if one of the girls, so I guess Phoebe, would get into a relationship with him. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't want it, but I wouldn't be surprised to have another messy relationship. And I guess I predict that in the mid-season finale or something, I think we're gonna we finish the business with Chris or something. And Chris will be kind of gone. I don't know. I don't know what to say about, predictions about Chris. I just think he isn't a good person. And I think he's really going to make the lives of the Charmed Ones even harder. So, I guess that's it. Do you trust Chris? No. When I got this question, I was like, why would I trust him? But then, if I'm kind of overthinking, I'm like, do I get this question because he is supposed to be trustworthy? Is this some kind of test? But from what we've seen so far, there's no reason at all to think that he's good, or not bad, or not evil. So I'm gonna stick with a big fat nope. I don't trust him. I don't trust him at all, and I don't like him. What do you think happened to Leo, and what do you think will happen? Well, I believe, and I have to believe that he isn't dead. He's not dead. But whatever Chris was doing wasn't good either. So I think that Leo has disappeared for a while. Maybe for the first half of the season. I hope not. But I think I don't think we're gonna see him in the season premiere. I think they're gonna be very vague about it. And I think the Charmed Ones, it's gonna take a while before they're gonna realize, maybe Leo isn't just being busy being the bigger elder and all that. Maybe there's something going on. But it will take a while. They will probably be distracted by Chris and whatever he's gonna ask of them to do. So maybe Leo is in some kind of special white lighter / elder cage, or maybe he's sent to the future, but it wouldn't really make sense either. So I don't know. Do you like Phoebe a little bit more again now that Cole is gone? It's a difficult question. Like I'm always kind of conflicted about her since since season 4, especially. I mean, it's not that I dislike Phoebe, but she's never been one of my favorites. But I did really enjoy her and her story arc, or character arc, I suppose, in the first 2 seasons. And in season 3, I realized that, even though I liked the storyline, I guess, between Phoebe and Cole, but I think I said it then as well. I like Cole more as a character, and I liked their relationship. and I feel like their relationship kind of, well, not, I'm not sure if that's the right word, like maybe tarnished a little bit the Phoebe character, but not, it's not just the relationship, because relationships, who cares? It's more, I don't know, some kind of, it's like the writers decided, like, what if instead of Phoebe being pretty much selfless and always doing her best to not just save the innocent in a general way of speaking, but also bonding with them on an emotional level and on kind of getting to know them as a person. What if we do the kind of the opposite of that and make her more selfish? Uh, make her more like, ugh, I'm done with the kind of witch stuff and I want to have a career and I want to have this and I want to have that recall. I don't know. Like, don't get me wrong, I understand that they all want to balance it. I understand they all want their life. And I mean, Piper especially is one of them who is a lot of times is just sick of all the weird stuff happening. But something what they do with Phoebe kind of ticks me off. There are too many scenes, in my opinion, where she's working on one of her advice columns or whatever, and she's like annoyed when Paige or Piper telling her like, "Oh my God, this is going on," or "We need you here because we need the power of chi," and she's just like, "Oh, I'm busy with work. I have to do work," and I'm like, seriously? Like, don't you hear what they're saying? We're talking about, I don't know, for example, Ghost, or people are getting killed, and you're really just nagging that you have to do some work. I mean, people are dying, Phoebe. Maybe I'm exaggerating, okay, but I don't know. Something ticks me off. And to answer the question, if I like her a little bit more now, I don't think she has changed that much since he's gone. So I don't think, I don't know. Maybe in the next season, maybe in season 6, but I didn't really notice a change. Not that much. But again, maybe I'm just very biased and I don't see it. So hope I don't disappoint you with my answer. Um, Were you happy with the twist that the baby actually was a boy and not a girl? But I don't really care that much about about gender, about why it's gender or that is a boy. I was surprised. I was laughing like, "What is a boy?" Like, okay. Um, and I have to say, it took me a while before I remembered. Like, wait a minute, it is a big deal that that the Hallowells didn't, that they're that Piper got a boy instead of a daughter, not just because they saw it in the future, but also about the whole, um, passing down the magic and all that thing. So when we got the grandma episode, I was like, oh, I guess it is kind of a big deal. But then again, I still feel like, who says that Vi will be the only baby? Who says that he won't get a brother or a sister or a niece? I mean, I don't really get why there's so much pressure while we don't even know if he's going to be the only baby. So I don't really get why there's so much uh why they were making such a big deal of it. But maybe that's something else that went over my head. Um so if I was happy, I mean, I'm kind of indifferent, but it was kind of an interesting twist, I guess. It was kind of funny. Yeah, it was like a funny twist. Like, oh, okay, lol. But I've been warned, about the future episode we saw in season 2, that was what the future what they saw at that point of time, and the future keeps on changing. So I should expect things to be different. Rank the sisters. Well, number 1, of course, Prue. Number 2, I guess I'm gonna go with Piper. I was still kind of, even when I was making notes, I was still not sure about what up with Paige or Piper. But I think Piper. Piper will be number 2, and then number 3 will be Paige, and then number 4 will be Phoebe. Uh, I'm really liking Paige, and again, I'm so happy that even though I didn't expect it at all, that they found someone, they found a great actress, and they also created this great character who could, not take in Prue's place, but she did fill, an empty space. She did fill a void, and I'm happy that it's working very well. Um, but I wouldn't say I'm in love with Paige, not yet. I do feel like I care the most about Piper now, and after that Paige, and then Phoebe. Did you feel bad that the sisters, particularly Phoebe, treated Cole so poorly considering he was possessed by the source against his will? I think I feel more bad about it now than then. It's something like it's one of those instances where the more you think about it, the more you're like, huh, yeah, that was pretty messed up. So I do feel kind of bad, but I don't know. Like on the one hand, I understand that they're more forgiving towards Phoebe. Phoebe is her sister. Phoebe's family. Cole, isn't. But on the other hand, I'm like, girls, he was possessed by the source. Um, at some point, he tried, even though he was possessed, I don't even know. Like he tried to stop it, but then Phoebe stopped him from saving himself. It was all a mess. The thing is, it wasn't like Cole voluntarily. It was like, oh yeah, okay, I want to be the source now, make me source. It's not like that. He was a victim. He was a victim. And I did kind of, it does kind of disturb me now that even though they know that he was possessed by the source or that he was the source, that no one, after he got back, that no one was like, you're white, or maybe try to guide him or something, or at least kind of check out like, hey, does he want to redeem himself? Can he redeem himself? I mean, he wanted at one point he wanted to leave San Francisco, and then he was being stopped, I believe, by Paige because they needed him to rescue Phoebe. I think it was the Mirror Maid episode. So he was willing to go. He realized, like, yeah, after that whole speech, like, okay, it's not cool what I'm doing. Like, I'm being kind of obsessive now. It's kind of creepy. But then they pulled him back and be like, no, you have to be here. You have to because she still loves you, blah, blah. So they kind of use him. And then after that, we just like, yeah, whatever, cool, go away, frack off. I don't know. I mean, then I don't think they should be his babysitters, but they could have done a little bit more. And at least if you don't want to help him, maybe kill him off sooner. I don't know. If you're like, he's evil, try to do something about it. And okay, they did try, and it didn't work at first because he couldn't be killed. But then even more, like, maybe find another way? I don't know. It did kind of bother me. I do feel that maybe some things could have been prevented. But at the end of the day, some things that Cole did after that were irredeemable. At a certain point, he killed people, and I was like, okay, now it's too late. But before that, I do think they could have done more. Okay, I hope I make any sense. Rank the season's finales. Hopefully, this won't be as hard as ranking the seasons. LOL. Alright, so, okay, I have to look now because I still have a hard time doing it, but number 1 was the easiest. Number 1 is the season 3 finale. It was pretty much a perfect finale, other than the last time we see Prue, and the fact that Prue, and maybe I'm just being how do you say it? Superficial, but was killed by such a weird looking demon. Like, what was up with his look? I still don't get it. Who designed him? I just want to talk. But okay, to be serious for a second, it was a very good episode. It was a very emotional one. It was one with my very beautiful cry face. But the acting was just on point. The writing was also very very well done. I don't know. I just really liked it. There are some points that kind of bother me, but I don't think they're really worth mentioning. I don't know. I do think so far that's the best season finale. The second place, I had to pick the first season finale, where to my very big surprise, Andy died. And still sometimes I kind of wonder like, whoa, but he died. And that was definitely one of the moments where I realized like, oh, okay, charm does, can be very dark, or they can, people can die for real. They can disappear. It kind of makes me feel the stakes way more. It made me realize that this show can have some very real consequences. So it does have a very special place in my heart. And I also really, really loved the scene between Andy and Prue, where he was, telling her like, that he can't go back. He won't be turned back to life. This is it. And of course, by the time kept on turning back and back, and little things were changing. I don't know. It was very well done. So yeah, now it gets harder. So I had season 3, season 1, and now I had to pick between season 5, 2, and 4. And for this, the third favorite season finale, picked um I picked season. I'm still doubting, you know. I picked season 4. Even though it wasn't really a finale as I expected it to be, and even though I don't really like that Cole got back, I did like that the sisters had the chance to pick a normal life if they wanted. You know, they had the chance to uh, get a blank slate and have a normal life, and I like those debates because we had that before that they could, give up the powers, but not that they could also have a blank slate that no one will know they're the charmed one, so they would really have a good chance of having a normal life. I really, really liked that and seeing how they had to choose. I do agree with a patron who said that um, he was kind of bothered, um, or she was kind of bothered that it was kind of decided by a majority vote. It shouldn't be a majority vote thing, you know? Like, why should it be like, oh, if the two of them want to continue to be witches, like, and another one doesn't? That's kind of messed up that she doesn't have a say for herself. But can be perfect, I guess. But like one of the most important moments, well, not one, but the most important moment of the 14th finale was definitely when we found out, and they found out as well, that Piper is pregnant. That was that's definitely one of my all-time favorite moments. It would have been better if we also, got to see Leo's reaction to that. But yeah, but what we got, it was still awesome. Still awesome, especially because in the episodes before that, um, Piper was worried that she wouldn't be able to get children. So beautiful, beautiful. Then I have season 5 at the 4 place. I can't even count anymore. Um, so that's the episode I recently watched, and like I said, it had very important moments, like this weird Chris guy. I suppose we have Leo becoming an elder. We have their Leo and Piper sort of break up. Piper, whose pain is taken away, and is kind of scary now. The child ones became gods. I mean, we saw gods. So we had very important moments. There were consequences, I suppose. There were consequences. I would be surprised if next episode, season 6 premiere, they were just like, oh, nothing is going on, and who's Chris? I don't know who Chris is. And, oh, Leo's not an elder, what are you talking about? So I suppose there's some very big consequences. So, and I do like it when there are consequences, generally. I don't like it when we just have a season finale where everything is alright. Which is why the second season is my least favorite season finale, because as I remember, there were not really any consequences. We had a way too big focus on Dan whose memories got wiped, so he wouldn't have a grudge and be like all that, like, oh my god, you ruined my life, and blah blah blah. It was just like, I'm fine now, lol. It was just rather blah. Yeah, there just weren't any consequences. Um, do you feel that there's a void in the show with Cole being gone? Do you miss him? I like the character. I like Cole, but I don't miss him. I think he overstayed his welcome. I would have preferred it way more if he died the first time and didn't die the second time. The second death, I was like actually rooting for him to be killed. That's not what I mean. I rather have the first death, where I kind of felt conflicted about. Like I felt a little bit sad, but also relieved that he wasn't being possessed or something anymore. The second death, I was basically like, yeah, kill him. Like, what? That's not how it's supposed to be. Now, I really like Cole, and I was actually, sometimes I'm being seduced to rewatch the third season, but I'm like, no, I wanna focus on reactions first. I don't really have a lot of time to watch different shows in my free time, so I'm putting off the rewatches mainly. But I kind of wanted to watch season 3, not just to see Prue again, but also about seeing the Cole storyline and how much potential it had. So no, I don't I don't miss him. And I don't really feel like there's a void, but sometimes I feel like the writers think there's a void, why they have this constant need of throwing love interest at Phoebe, I guess. So I was really worried that Jason will be some kind of knockoff version of Cole, but I guess not. So yeah. Um, Besides the pilot, have you rewatched any episodes of Charmed since you started reacting to the series? If so, have your initial thoughts on any episodes changed? Like I said, I don't really watch a lot of episodes just now, because I try to the time that I do have, I try to spend on reactions, and other time I try to do different things other than, of course, school. Um, but other than the pilot, I rewatched the Wendigo episode because that was just fun. And I watched the season 1 finale like a while back. And I enjoyed watching it again, but I don't really have any like eureka moments or that my thoughts really changed. It's kind of similar. Um, oh wait, Another episode is the. Wait, let me just read that, please. Do I have the title name? Dead Man Dating. Yeah, I also rewatched that. I think another. I do have some thoughts that changed, and that is that it would have been fun if Piper was able to date Mark for a little while. You all know I love her with Leo, but I don't know. She had some great chemistry with Mark, and I liked their little starting of a romance in that one episode. But it would have been fun if we got a little bit more. I don't know. Um. Okay, before I continue, just a little second. Having a cold. Alright. Where was I? Oh yeah. Question 13. What do you think Prue would think of Paige? Um, I mean, Prue would obviously love Paige. I do think it would have taken some time, but after she, I guess, got used to it, she would have accepted Paige, and I think they would have gotten along fine. I think they would, not just fine. I think they would have loved each other. I think they would have teamed up a lot of times and tried to convince Piper and Phoebe that, something shady is going on. Trying to tell them, like, oh my god, girls, how many times do we have to go through this? So and so is shady, and etc. Of course, like Cole, for example. Maybe Piper would have believed Paige way sooner if Prue was backing her up, or more like Paige was backing up Prue. I also think that they both be having fun about challenging each other with the whole journey of trying to become a more powerful and better witch and finding more things out about the craft. I really think they will have some kind of friendly friendly challenging each other, I guess. But maybe, or maybe I hope that maybe Prue would also um, kind of realize that sometimes she can be a little bit too. Well, sometimes, a lot of times, she takes a little bit too many risks, and maybe by seeing that part of her in Paige, she would realize that herself, be like, wait a minute, like, I'm telling her to not do this and that, but I'm doing the same thing. So I don't know, maybe because they have some similar traits, Prue would also realize some things about herself more, and maybe be a little bit more careful, but maybe that's just wishful thinking. Which is your favorite and least favorite creature they introduced this season? Like mermaids, the fairy tale character, etc. And it can also count new demons. Well, least favorite are definitely the leprechauns. I hope I pronounced that somewhat correctly. Uh, that was, I think definitely maybe even my least favorite Charmed episode so far. I believe it was just not fun at all to watch. It was like the first time, I believe, that I was like, okay, when is this episode going to end? Because I'm kind of over it and I'm gonna do something else. It was just not fun. It was, in my opinion, it was not even silly. It was just ridiculous, and I don't like the inclusion of them. No. And favorite creature, I didn't really know. I had to think very long and hard about that part of the question, because I'm not a fan of the mystical creatures in general. I just don't like it. I mean, I would. Wait, can I count that? Can I count the unicorn now to think about it? I like the unicorn. I want to see the unicorn again. Yeah, give me give me a unicorn again. Like any day, I want to show it again. I have too much light. But like, give me, yeah, now you can see it. Give me a unicorn, then I'm happy. So if that counts, I want to say unicorn. And if it doesn't count, I wrote down fairy tales because it did give me a big laugh. So I guess the fairy tales. Um, Favorite costume for the sisters. Uh, I I gotta go with the superhero costumes. I don't think it was the best costume, but I just liked the idea in general, and it really gave me Smallville vibes. I love Smallville. I have to watch that again. Um, it would have been better if their masks also fit their costume instead of just being black. It would have been nice if Paige would have wore like a pink mask and Piper a silver mask and Phoebe a red mask. But I liked it. It was also, I don't know. It was just a fun episode. Um, but I also like the Greek goddesses costumes. They did really give me that. They really did give me the vibe of being goddesses. I liked it. My only nitpick would be Phoebe's hair. I just wish they used her own hair color. And if they wanted her hair to be longer, give it her longer brown hair instead of the blonde. But that's just a small nitpick. Which sister's power would you like to have? At the moment, Paige her power. I just think it's very useful. The orbiting powers. Whenever I'm losing stuff, and quite frankly, I'm losing quite a stuff recently, I could just like orbit to me instead of just searching through my whole messy womb. Because trust me, be glad that you can't see my whole womb. Because if you're just looking at my background, I don't think it looks that bad. But yeah, I'm just glad you can only see this stuff. It's quite a mess. I really have to get my stuff together. So I would like that power. And it would have been even more perfect if she could just orb things like, I don't know, like, what's my career goal? What's my life goal? Or give me like a life, like a step book of steps, how to deal with life in general. That would be even more perfect. If you can just orb that to me, oh my god. Um, which sister's sense of style do you prefer? Yeah, so I'm laughing because I don't have a style at all. I don't mean that in a sad way. It's just a fact. So I'm not sure if I should judge them, but I don't really pay that much attention to their style. If I do, it's because I'm being distracted by it, or be like, wait, what's up with that? But if I really had to choose one of their styles, I would pick Piper because I think she's the most casual of them. I don't know. I like her clothes more. I think, especially Phoebe, they can sometimes have a little bit too, for me, I guess, too weird clothes, or a little bit too unique, I guess. So I'm gonna go with Piper. I definitely wouldn't go with Phoebe because I'm just not that confident. So yeah. Um, what did you think of Paige's new hair color? Well, I love it. I don't think I've commented it. So thank you for asking me that question, but I love her new hair color. I think she looks even more beautiful than last season. I think it fits her well. Yeah. Paige hasn't had a prominent love interest yet. What kind of guy would you like for her? Well, I wouldn't mind, for her to stay single. But if we really have to give her a love interest, then I kind of hope that maybe it's a fellow witch. Maybe someone who is just as passionate as Paige about studying and practicing the craft, but also has, kind of a wild side. So I guess kind of similar as Paige. I don't know if that's weird. I don't know. Someone like that. But I guess more importantly for me, someone who is very confident about, staying on the good side and not swaying to the bad side. Yeah. It's just someone with a personality. That's like very important. Not just has the personality trait of I'm the love interest, as in my opinion Jason was. So as long as that person has a personality, it's fine with me. um, how do you think Prue will react with Wyatt? Well, she will love him, of course, love him. But I tried to overthink a little bit, and I came to the conclusion that even though that she will love him very much, I do think that maybe she would also have some alarm bells, just as Grandma. I don't think she would be, I guess, that rude about it. But I do think that she would do a little bit of research, trying to kind of figure out about, why he's a boy and not a girl. Again, she would love Ryan, but she would still want to make sure that, okay, is everything going as it should be? Or did something go wrong? Not that he is wrong, but like, is something, is everything alright with the family line? Because they have to make sure that magic is being passed in the way that it should be. So I do think that she would have done some research, but she would also instantly love him. Yeah. Um, who's your favorite and least favorite villain of season 5? Well, I guess it's kind of cheating, but I just wrote down Barbara's. I know he's a returning villain, but he was just very charismatic. I'm still knocking myself down because in his first appearance I wasn't as impressed with him. I'm just like, what was wrong with me? But I've seen the light, okay? I've seen the light. Now he's one of my favorite villains, so I'm just gonna pick him, even though you maybe consider it cheating. It just is what it is. Least favorite, I didn't even know because, quite frankly, a lot of villains were just not that memorable to me. So I was like, okay, there was this episode was kind of weird, but I don't know the villain. So I just kind of chose the easy way out, and I picked Cole as least favorite villain, simply because, again, I can't say it enough. I'm sorry for boring you. That he should have died in the first place, and it was kind of hard to watch for him. At first I was kind of laughing when he was going mad, which is kind of rude of me, but yeah. But at the end I was just kind of frustrated. I was just like, please, please just relieve him of all his misery. Just stop. So I'm gonna pick him. It was just enough. Um, um, how how do you feel? Oh yeah, I combined two questions here. So the first question was, how do you feel about Paige deviation from her career? And the second question is, how do you feel about Paige growth this season in terms of her accepting her White Lighter side and delving more into magic? Well, I actually wish she kept her job. I liked her job, and I think her job offered, a lot of great options for storylines, and also to kind of say to the macabre gives us great ways to give us more victims, more innocence, I guess. And I also think she's shown on her job, um, and I also believe that her job is just more interesting than Phoebe's job. Personally, I'm not a fan of this a little bit some kind of celebrity Phoebe. I don't know. I just don't like it. It doesn't really make sense to me that she is famous. Like, do people really care that much about her being someone who gives advice to people about the love issues and love problems? Maybe that's a thing. But where I live, where people write those kind of things, they're not really that famous. I mean, I don't, I don't, I don't think people really talk about them that much. Um, and it also doesn't really make sense that she isn't a little bit scared about being famous, because what if someone finds out about her, secret second life about being a witch? Mm, Plus, it also gives us a lot of scenes about where she's like, "Oh, I have to work," and it's just, yeah, I don't know. I just liked Paige her job more. But anyway, back to Paige. I liked her job, but I'm also very proud that she is focusing on trying to be a more powerful witch, about being more in control. And I do think that they should all be more studying. I think that Paige can actually take it a couple notches back, and Piper and Phoebe have to, you know, work a little bit harder. I can understand for Piper, she needs a break now. I mean, she has to take care of Wyatt, and of course of her marriage with Leo. But for Phoebe, come on, girl, what are you doing? Like, I get it, you want a job, it's all good. I support if you want to have a job, of course. But also try to keep improving yourself. And especially because recently you were evil, so maybe you want to make sure that you're still being in touch with your witchy side, I guess. But I believe that Paige said it herself, that she came to the conclusion that, even though she loves doing it, I don't think she really regrets quitting a job, but she does need to be able to balance more, and that she also wants to be able to hang out with her friends, or have a wild side. So I'm glad that she's also realized, like, okay, I can take a step back now. I found it for a job, but I also lied. I think there was more attention on Paige. I kind of felt to me like a lot of times, and maybe it seemed that way, that Paige was didn't get as much attention as I would like to. Like most of her scenes were where she was trying to convince them that something weird is going on, and then she had to keep on convincing them. Either they eventually believed her, or like the evidence in the form of the demon literally invaded their house. So I just want her to have some other things to do, you know. Um. I hope I didn't skip any questions. Wait, let me just take a very fast look that I didn't skip anything. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, so final two questions then. Season 6 predictions. Okay, I wrote a lot down, so I gotta read a little bit more now just so I don't miss anything. But yeah, what are my predictions? That I already said. Like the first half of the season, they will probably deal with Chris and his shady business. Um, he'll be the white lighter. He gaslight them regarding Leo's absence. And in the meantime, Phoebe will probably end up dating him, which I'm not a fan of. Oh yeah, a new thing is that I also predict that Piper at some point will get her pain back all at once regarding Leo, and it will really hurt her, and maybe even drive her like to the edge a little bit. Like I don't think that she will go to the dark side, but I think she would like maybe a little bit flirt a little bit about it. Maybe it doesn't really make sense. I can't really explain, but I kind of feel like we're gonna see a little bit more of a darker Piper. You know, kind of as a contrast. Like at first we have this very happy, kind of scary Piper as we saw in the season finale, and then after that we're gonna see a more, yeah, more, I don't know, more darker Piper, more. I feel like something like that would happen. But I think that just before she's totally gonna flip to the bad side, she's gonna realize like, what am I doing? Gonna realize once again, what her purpose and what she's want to do and what her goal is, and also, you know, like, how is that even gonna help? And she's gonna flip right back to the good side, and maybe because of that, she will also end up finding out whatever it is with Leo. That's my very detailed prediction. Um, and the second half of the season, after we dealt with the whole Chris thing, I think or hope it will be very family oriented. I think we will probably found out even more about Wyatt and his future. Um, Maybe we even get to see a little bit of the future, literally. Uh, you know, about how Wyatt will end up and how powerful exactly will be. Um, and also, yeah, then I have some little predictions. Like one of my predictions is that Jason will return for one more episode. I don't know. I just feel like we're gonna see him again. To I guess to really get it 100% concluded. Even though I felt like it's concluded, but I feel like the writer's thing is still not finished. Um, I think I think Paige, or also another Hope, will get a job again. I don't know if she will get an old job, but I hope something similar, because, as I said, she realized that she needs more normal time. She needs to balance things more. And finally, I think the season will be way more focused on the White Lighter world, the rules, etc. And that's all good with me, as long as we're not going to focus on the language. Yeah, I haven't forgotten about the White Lighter language. No. Well, and finally, season 6 wish list. So the first thing I wrote was no big love stories except for Piper and Leo. So I think I'm very clear about that. Second of all, no more mythical creatures unless they are dark or well executed with not too much cringe. I'm sorry, I'm not sure where I'm laughing, but I don't know. So far the mythical creatures aren't really working that much for me, so I wouldn't really mind not really seeing them. But again, I'm nervous because I have been told that the Charmed is probably not gonna go dark, because the network didn't want them to be dark. They wanted light storylines. I'm like, please shut up, but guess I have to deal with it. Um, Another thing is that I hope that they're going to the past and that we're gonna explore another one of the ancestors. I just really love those storylines, and we hope we can see that again. And also that Paige can see it. I also we're going to the future and gonna check out what's up with Chris. What is his deal? Who is he exactly? What does he hope to achieve with this? I want to see it. Maybe we have the mid-season finale in the future. I don't know, but I'm down for that. Um, I also want to see like the Charmed Ones working together with other witches for a huge threat, so that they can show off. Maybe they have to learn some leadership skills. Can kind of be even more of an inspiration for the witches, because I know that whenever a witch meets one of them and realize that they're the Charmed Ones, they're all like woo, like in away and all that. And of course you have to be, but I kind of want to see. I kind of want to see it even more. I want to see more connections with other witches instead of them being so isolated. Um, I also want Phoebe to either quit her job or to take a few steps back and focus more on the witchcraft. Kind of finding the joy again about being a witch, because she was the one in the beginning who was constantly motivating Piper and Prue about being a witch, about doing the right thing, about embracing their destiny, and I want to see that again. I kind of feel it's more like Paige sometimes reminds me of the past Phoebe, and I want to see that again. Um, um, if I want more, oh, I thought I want more. I guess another thing is that I wish that we would get some dark storylines, but I do hope we get a good balance in it. And as always, I want real consequences, and that sometimes when they take big risks, they go through with it. I hope they want to do that and give us that. So yeah, I went through all the questions, but I feel like I've sounded very negative. I hope that isn't the case, but just to be sure, even though that season 5 is not my favorite season or anything, I did enjoy the season overall. It's not because I didn't find it as memorable, but this was a bad season. I actually thought it was maybe gonna be a bad season, because I had some comments of people like, buddy, don't worry, you can be honest about it. You don't have to lie. If you don't like it, just tell us. We're not going to be mad. I was like, wait, is it going to be that bad? Or like, am I really going to see some stuff and be like, wait, what the hell is this? I want to quit the show. But that's not the case. I still had a blast watching the episode. I was still looking forward to it. And I really thought that like the way some people were talking, that half of the season was going to be like the Leprechaun episode, which wasn't the case at all. It's still just as much as fun to watch the show as it used to be. But again, I'm just bad at ranking seasons. So it was a good season. It was still a good season, and I enjoyed it, and it made me excited for what's to come. So I'm just nervous and excited. I know that the season 6 premiere is 2 episodes in one. I believe it's a 2-parter. So I'm gonna watch them in one viewing, I guess. So I'm so curious. I'm just so happy that the show continues to be so good. I'm happy that the show managed to not just survive without one of the main characters, and especially such an awesome character, but not just survive, but to continue to do their own thing, to continue to stay as entertaining, and not just to stay entertaining, but to continue to keep its place in my heart. I'm just very grateful for that. And I'm also very grateful that you guys are still willing to watch with me, to watch my reactions, to deal with my constant screaming and confusion. And I also want to take this opportunity to once again, oh my god, I'm still embarrassed about that, apologize about not recognizing Sam. I'm very sorry. I'm still having nightmares about that, trust me. So yeah, on that note, thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for giving me all your questions. Bye!